He said, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-'ajzi wal-kasal. That, oh Allah, I seek refuge with you from inability and laziness. But al-'ajz is not inability in the sense that I'm not capable of doing. It's not that me standing in front of you, 5 foot small, says I cannot dunk a basketball. That's not what it's talking about. But ajiz is different from istita'at, which is ability. Ajiz is dua that the Prophet is making in protection from ajiz, is saying that, Ya Allah, keep me from being like those people who have the ability to do something and they still don't do it. It is within their power, it is within their capacity. They have full means and full ability to do, but they're just not doing it. Ya Allah, keep me from being like that. When I have the ability to give, I don't give. When I have the ability to stand, I don't stand. When I have the ability to be kind and compassionate and generous, I fail to be kind and compassionate and generous. When there is room for me to spend time just in service to others, I don't spend time in service to others. When there's opportunity for me to hold the door open, when there's opportunity for me to carry somebody else's bag, when there's opportunity for me to clean and cook and do whatever it is that can be done, I let somebody else do. You don't have to think about it on a big scale about taking to the streets, but you start from a place that is within your most immediate. Think about the beauty of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam having family members that would say that he would sew his own clothes, that he would do chores in the household. And then think about the foolish conversations that we engage in and day out that speak about equity and equality around gender, because you have men who say that it's not for me to clean a dish. It's not for me to cook a meal. Whose sunnah do you follow? You understand what it means to really embrace the ability and God-given talents with gratitude and appreciation that you've been endowed with. This is the dua of the Prophet. He is asking Allah Azza wa Jal, a man who did not stop for 23 years with his leg, Ya Allah, don't make me amongst those who have the ability to do, and they still don't. Why, when you have the ability to do, would we be kept from doing it? Why, when it is in my means, why, when it is in my capacity? Brothers, please, and why, when it is something that is truly just in my hand, I don't necessarily move forward? And I would say that this conversation around kibr, this conversation around arrogance is important because it is tied intrinsically to a conversation around confidence. Confidence is something that allows for us to recognize both our strengths and our non-strengths. It allows for me to see with an air of appreciation what Allah has endowed me with the ability to do. And I can praise God for it. I don't have to believe it comes from me, it comes from the divine. It also allows for me to see where I have areas to improve, where I can grow, where I can be better. My arrogance only lets me see weakness in the world around me. It only lets me see what is at fault with those that are sitting in my immediate, or those who I don't even know of, but I still have full ability to pass judgment on and put them into very clean and neat boxes. Because all I'm seeking to do is elevate myself by denigrating somebody else. Knowledge in and of itself and the acquisition of it is not something that really is what you need. What the poet says is that knowledge is like the rain, and the soil that it falls upon is like behavior. And if you have a filthy, dirty soil filled with impurity, you can shower it with as much rain as you want to, it's not going to grow you anything. If you are in a place where you have so much, but you are not really remedying your inside, you are not looking introspectively to be able to really say, what is up with my heart? And why am I doing what I'm doing, but at times, more importantly, why am I not doing what I have full ability to do? The person who's going to miss out the most It's not going to be anybody other than us. The person who's going to really miss out on more than we might realize are no one else other than you and I. What is humility? It's not a concept that is archaic. What does it mean? What does it mean when you really try to understand the beauty of hadith that tell us that when the messenger of God was looked for by people who came from lands far away, and they would walk into the community, and they couldn't tell who he was because he was of his people. He looked like them. He spent time with them. He was with them. He didn't tell people to do things that he didn't do himself. He wasn't served in this way, but he came to serve. And what it does is it creates within him a heart that is at such a place of flourishment that it can go out and impact hearts and really transform society. There's a hadith where a man comes who is not Muslim. And he's making inquiry from amongst the people, which one of you is Muhammad? And as he sees a group of people sitting on the ground, and he asks that, do you know who Muhammad is? Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Prophet says, I am Muhammad. Man, he embraces Islam right there and then. The truth of this message came from the one who was conveying it, embodying with his character and who he was, a certain humility. He was on the ground with his companions. He wasn't separated from them. How do you explain race and ethnicity to a population that's never thought about it? How do you really explain to somebody what it's like to be of a certain social class, what it's like to be of a certain skin color, what it's like to be of a certain gender, what it's like to be of a certain lifestyle, a certain sexual orientation? Not looking at it with hot button terms that set you off in a direction that makes no sense. But how do you know what it's like to live somebody else's life when you are not the things that they are? And if you are not in a place where you attune to their reality, how then are you going to really be able to motivate yourself to move beyond an apathy and an indifference that justifies the passivity that keeps us in the places that we find ourselves in? What do you think is really meant by pleasing your Lord? That is the reality of the circumstance you find yourself. I was walking on the streets last night, downtown Manhattan. First I tried to drive, and I got stuck in crazy traffic. Every single block that I tried to go down, there was cars after cars, and it wasn't even that they were just all going in one direction, but because there was so much going on, you had cars driving down the street the wrong way, crossing gridlocks, and after some time, I couldn't get to where I needed to go. I just pulled over and parked, and I walked really far to my next meeting. I saw people walking down the streets. They were chanting and they were carrying signs and they were speaking about the injustices that were faced with the failure to indict the individual who killed and murdered Eric Garner. And as you saw everything that was taking place and transpiring, and you saw as that these people were walking in all kinds of places and trying to just have their voices heard. And you saw law enforcement walking around them as well, trying to contain and do what they were doing. I was on my way to have a meeting with somebody at a restaurant downtown. It's called Nobu. Some of you probably have heard of it. It's a sushi restaurant. People eat there. $100 a person, $150 a person. I don't know if it's the same, but a long, long time ago, the way they ran it, they brought in fresh fish from Japan daily or every other day. walking down the street, I'm thinking to myself, where am I walking to? I'm watching these people walk around me and dedicating their time and their night to the cold to stand up for what they believe in. And I said to myself, where are my feet taking me right now? And I walked into this restaurant, and I'm not judging anybody who's sitting there. And Allah give them and us and all those whom we love only the best in this world and the best in the next. I'm talking about me. It's like I was in a totally different world. All the noises from the street were not present. The sirens and the flashing lights and the voices screaming, they were all gone. And the people who were sitting there were engaged in conversation at the end of a day's work, talking about whatever they were talking about, perhaps a meeting like the one I was having or a purely social interaction, but all the while I'm talking to the person I'm talking to, I'm thinking, why am I in here and not out there? Why am I sitting here doing this and I'm not out there doing that? I didn't have a set answer. I don't think that's necessarily a problem. Because the most important step, I would say, is to start the conversation. And to let yourself carry through to an end that does not justify or validate a certain passivity, but acknowledges with an air of open and honest self-criticism how we've ended up where we are. 2 weeks prior, around Thanksgiving time, many of you know we have this meat store that generates some money for our Islamic center up the street, and it donates money to social organizations and food pantries, etc. So around Thanksgiving time, we were selling turkeys to people. I was in my car delivering turkeys. One of the buildings that I stopped at tried to go in through the front door. The guy looked at me and he said, "You can't come in this way." I said, "Okay." He said, "Deliveries go through the service center. It's raining outside. It's, fine, I'll do it." I walk through the service area. There's a line of delivery men waiting to get onto that elevator. Brothers, please move up again. So I'm sitting in this line waiting, and they're telling me that you can't go up the elevator by yourself. You have to wait for somebody to take you up. And then I wait, and then they say, "Hold on, we're going to put some more people in the elevator with you." I'm standing in the elevator with somebody who works at this apartment building that we're at, as well as somebody who is delivering food from a sushi restaurant and from a Mexican restaurant. These guys are wearing these ponchos, dripping with water because they're riding through the rain in their bicycles. And in my mind, I'm thinking, why am I here? Every single thought that went through my head that said to me that I'm bigger than this. This is not my place. Being channeled through a side door and going up an elevator that the residents don't go through, and I'm sitting here with delivery men. I took a stop. So subhanAllah, I texted my wife. I said, "I just realized how disgustingly arrogant of a person that I am." What made me bigger than that? What made it that I was not supposed to be in that space? Men who were twice my age, running through rain to be able to make less than minimum wage because people don't care about how they treat immigrants. And all I could think about was, I'm not really supposed to be here. I'm above this. They just don't know me. And that was the critical piece. They didn't know me. Nobody in that elevator knows that I stand in front of hundreds of people and talk. Nobody knows about media engagements and speaking engagements and all of these kinds of things. What is it that really gives you a sense of worth and value? Not just in terms of the societal level, not just in terms of something that gives rise to your ego, not just something that's about feeding your nafs. Really ask yourself, why are you not present in the places that you are fully able to be, you are supposed to be? We play a critical role in the development of the city that we live in. Our voices are important. They need to start speaking out, not just about issues that are relevant to us as Muslims, but as are relevant to people that are in the community that we're a part of. Just because you're not black doesn't mean you can't speak up in defense of black people. You can be an undergrad, you can be an international person, you might not be a citizen of the United States. You are here. You play a pivotal role in transforming society. You got to think really deeply about how it is that you are doing what you are able to do. Our Prophet made dua. Our Prophet made dua. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-'ajz. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from not doing what I have the ability to do. You can justify it and say it's someone else's responsibility. No one has your voice but you. You can justify it and say that I'm really busy. Time is not just about feeding the nafs, but it's about really thinking, how are you utilizing it? You can justify it and say that I'm bigger than that. I'm better than this. Somebody else is supposed to do these things. Say that none of us are. Because we still had a prophet who took the time to talk to children, who sewed his own clothes, who cooked meals, who ran races with his wife, who gave up everything that he had. He did not once say that, look at my station, I'm bigger than this. Hadith, the Bedouin man comes and urinates in the masjid. We know this hadith. The companions try to stop him from urinating. The Prophet says, no, let them be. The wisdoms that are derived, we think about that the Prophet doesn't want to alienate this man and turn his heart away from Islam. He doesn't want to make a bigger mess. One of my teachers I was talking to in the last couple of weeks, he said, you know, one of the other reasons they say the Prophet kept the companions from keeping this man from stopping to urinate is because he knew that many of his Sahabi only owned one piece of clothing, and he didn't want that to get filthy. Think about it. Think about it for yourself. Really understand the journey of this dunya is not an ends, but it's a means to a bigger ends. You have the means to participate and do so with a mindfulness, to start from a place of empowerment. We all have things that we can offer. It's not okay what is happening right now. If you think that it is definitely not. We have one community leader in New York City who, mashallah, is out on the street every night. Her name is Linda Sarsour. You should make dua for this woman because she's peace for all of us when we sit and don't do anything. She's out there and she's showing people that we are also a part of this movement. She is young, she is female, she is Palestinian. Muslims push her out of leadership places because of the fact that she is the gender that she is. Society mistreats her because of the religion that she practices and the culture that she is a part of, her country of origin. She does not keep herself from still doing simply because it's the right thing to do. You want to affirm what sincerity is, humility is. When was the last time you sat down? You could really say, I just went and did that because it was just the right thing to do. No other reasons, no other qualifications. I'm saying this to you as somebody who a few weeks ago thought that it was beneath me to be standing in an elevator with people of the life that I was. Allah forgive me and forgive all of us. We have potential. We have to see how it is that we utilize it. وقال هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين استغفروه انه هو الغفور الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله تعالى فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا مولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله. Just a few announcements before we make dua. Inshallah ta'ala, tonight in the Musalla, our professionals group is holding its monthly discussion with Dave Coolidge and Sister Samira Al-Kareem. The topic of discussion tonight is going to be Islam, race, and justice. It's going to be at 7 o'clock until about 9 o'clock or so in the Musalla downstairs. Graduate students are having a dinner in this building, room 383, at 6 p.m. And we're also doing a freshman dinner tonight at 6 o'clock that will be taking place at my apartment. One of our students, Hadia, who we've talked about in the past, inshallah, she started a foundation called Bring On the Books and doing amazing work. To give you an example, they I think last year had raised about $700,000 and donated 70,000 books to children in need who are without books. They're running a book drive from now to December 11th. They have a box on the 4th floor. If you have children's books at your home that you no longer use or read, even if you read them and you love to read them to your kids or your siblings or love reading them yourself, give those to this book drive and go to somebody who could really benefit from it. We started registration for our Umrah trip that takes place in March every year. Amazing experience. You don't have to be a student to participate. It'll be from March 12th to the 21st. Please apply sooner than later just so we can have all the numbers checked for it. And if you have questions on it, please let me know. We have lunch with the community following prayer, inshallah. And as always, if you can be generous with your sadaqah to help support our programs, that would be great. The mother of one of our community members, who is also my cousin, my aunt Sada is having surgery right now with Roman Memorial Sloan Kettering. You can keep her in your dua, inshallah. And also one of our sisters who is a freshman here at NYU, Sparta Rose. She had a minor procedure done the other day as well, unexpectedly. Recovering right now. Keep them both in your dua, inshallah, that Allah makes this ailment a means of purification of this world and means of elevation in the next. الله ولا يزالون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد في الأولين والآخرين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. يا مغرب الذنوب ثبت ذنوبنا على دينك. يا مغرب الذنوب ثبت ذنوبنا على دينك. يا مغرب الذنوب ثبت ذنوبنا على دينك. Begin this supplication in your your name, Yahweh, and beseech you to send your choicest salutations upon your most beloved, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We ask that you shower your infinite mercy upon this gathering, granting each and every one who is present and here in and our loved ones, and be the best in this world and the best in us. We ask you, Allah, that if we are meant to be in each other's company and each other's presence only at this time and this place, that if all of us are meant to be gathered together in this world only at this time at this place, that you gather us all together again in the best of places in the world beyond this. That if our hearts are to be in the presence of each other's hearts only at this moment in our love, we ask that you gather us together, young and old, male and female, from all walks of life, along with our loved ones in the best of places in the world beyond this. We ask you, Allah, that you bring justice to this world that is in need of justice. That you bring mercy to this world that is in need of mercy. That you bring compassion to this world that is in need of compassion. And you, Ya Allah, are the source of peace, for you is all peace. To send peace upon this world, Ya Allah, and make us from amongst those who are vehicles to bring your mercy, your compassion, your peace to this dunya and to the creation that is in. Ya Allah, protect us from any affliction, from any anxiety, from any anguish. Ya Allah, protect us and prohibit any type of arrogance from entering into our heart. Forgive us, Ya Allah, when we judge people based off of the language that they speak. When we judge people based off of the color of their skin. When we judge people based off of the country of their origin. It is you and your divine wisdom who put us into this world and decided and determined to who we would be born and to where we would be born to and at what point we will be taken from this dunya. Ya Allah, protect us from any type of arrogance. Ya Allah, make us from amongst the mu'mineen. Ya Allah, make us from amongst those who are sincere. Ya Allah, make us from amongst those who are sincere. Ya Allah, make us from amongst those who are sincere. Ya Allah, make us from amongst the patient. Make us from amongst the honest. Make us from amongst the truthful. Make us from amongst the selfless. Make us from amongst the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Make us generous the way Muhammad was generous. Make us compassionate the way Muhammad was compassionate. Make us understanding the way that Muhammad was understanding. Forgive us, Ya Allah, for serving only our nafs. Forgive us, Ya Allah, for the times that we have looked to only satisfy our needs. Forgive us for every moment when we had the ability to act and we failed to act. Forgive us for every moment when we had the ability to speak and we failed to speak. Forgive us for every heart that we have caused pain to. Forgive us for every word of harshness. Forgive us for every moment of arrogance. Forgive us for every look of condescension. Forgive us, Ya Allah, for bringing that filth into our heart. Purify us of it and make us from amongst those who are sincere to you. Ya Allah, protect us from hearts that are not humble, those that are not wise, and eyes that have forgotten how to cry. Forgive us for our shortcomings and guide and bless us all. ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم وتب علينا مولانا انك انت التواب الرحيم صلى الله تعالى على خير قلبه محمد واهله وصحبه اجمعين برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين في الصلاه.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Straighten your line, shoulder to shoulder, inshallah, fill the gaps. Barely the formation of your sujood is part of your salah. Keep in mind we're standing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so praise if this is your last prayer, inshallah. Also, please take the time to silence any electronic devices that you might have with you, so as to not distract one another during the course of the prayer. Amongst the prayer.
Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين والعصر إن الإنسان لفي الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.